Oh, sorry guys, just had to take a phone call. As you can see, finals kicked off. And Brett will be back with us shortly, I'm sure. He's just gone walkabout. And we get to see the great Mick Hill in action at the table as we speak. And I'll tell you what, it's very lucky for Dan that Adam Andretzke's name isn't any longer, otherwise there'd be some serious trouble fitting that onto the little tab at the bottom of the screen there. Okay, I'm just going to put the microphone. There's a bit of trouble in the background, as you might be able to hear. I'll just be back shortly. They're just going to stop the match, I think. All right, match is resumed. Brett's just done a bit of security. And we're back into the match.
Yeah, what's happened here? Mick's obviously on red. He obviously had 2 shots. He's still at the table.
Yeah. Do you know
I see him going game here, Jamie, for sure.
Yeah, do you know the problem I'm having with Mick Hill, Brett, is I try and find a way that he can't go game more than the way
well, that's right. Well, it doesn't happen very often.
He doesn't seem to actually miss much.
Mick's going to pot this and bounce off the side rail and leave exactly that angle. He won't roll this in. He'll hit this in with a touch of left-hand side and stun it in slightly, Jamie.
Yeah.
Bring the white more into the... Actually, no, he actually might float this down and play for the ball that's over the hole.
That's exactly how I'd be playing it too.
Yeah, that's how he will be playing this,
You can actually swing around off 2, Brett, and then...
I don't think he'd be taking the risk of actually getting the white between the gap with the 2 reds to get on the ball over the hole where he doesn't have to. Oh, actually, he's hitting a bit low. He's just dragging this slightly, coming down the table, floating down the table, just like that. He's perfect on this.
And do you swing around the 2 off 2
he
cushions?
He can swing around off 2 cushions,
but
he doesn't want to overrun this shot, does he?
Do you play in between black and red, maybe?
Maybe.
I like swinging around the angles here.
Yeah, I think he's going off. Yeah, he's definitely going off 2 cushions. No, he's going between the black and the red.
He's underhit that, but he's okay. Maybe he played for the middle, we just don't realise. I don't think he did, but...
Actually, the position of those balls, both positional shots were a bit tricky, so...
Actually, I reckon he has played for that, you know?
Yeah, he probably has played for the one in the middle. Or maybe he played for the one in the top, and he's got that as insurance if he falls short where he did. Yeah, simple out. This is 1-0, obviously.
And I'll tell you what, Adam Andretzke's probably feeling a touch sick, and I'll tell you why. And I was kind of hoping to be in this position that Adam's in right now. But the thing that would have made me sick as well if I had a loss to Mick Hill is that if he wasn't here, you could be the one that's won the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, because let's face it, he's about $1.04 to win.
Well,
He is that good. But you know,
I wouldn't say $1.04 at the start of the tournament, Jamie.
not at the start, but in the
You're talking
final.
about now.
Yes, in the final. And obviously that takes nothing away from Andretzke
No,
because he is a
absolutely
great
not.
player. But the problem is, if your opponent doesn't miss
Yeah.
when the balls are there, how do you beat them?
Well, there's a pure example of it just right there and then. There's still a lot of players in this room that maybe wouldn't have got that out, even though it wasn't that hard. Mick was never any chance of not getting it.
Exactly right,
So,
and it rarely is he ever a chance of not getting it out at all ever, and that's why he's such a great player. And I think the only way to beat Mick Hill, to be honest, is to get a ball in for break every time and clear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
have
you've got to go.
win the
You've
coin
got
toss.
to get a ball and clear. Yeah.
I know that sounds really dumb.
It certainly would put yourself in a advantageous position, no doubt about that.
And actually, the reason I actually say that is because I watched him. And I think I've mentioned this before on previous streams. I watched him play Gareth Potts in the World Final one year, live, and it was race to 11. Gareth Potts was the only person to miss one single ball, and it cost him the whole match.
Okay.
They basically, every single frame was break.
He missed one
and
ball
run
for the
out.
match and he lost the match. So there's the proof in the pudding.
So Mick Hill didn't actually miss a single ball for that whole match in the race to 11. It was a ridiculous pull, probably the best pull I've ever seen in my life.
Mick's taken yellows here. Now the reason he's played that shot is because it left him exactly the perfect angle on the ball on the right hand side rail to stun this in with a touch aside and knock those two dead yellows on. So he's going to come between, like hit any contact here, he moves on and he's on the ball over the hole, which leads to the one on the top rail, which he just rolls in after that. I think we're seeing Mick go game again here.
Yeah, it obviously all comes down to the contact of this shot.
It comes down to knocking this ball into the contact, yep. Well, there it is. Yeah, I think Mick's going game.
The contact apparently is perfect.
Yeah, I think he's taking the one over the hole now. The reason being because he's going to have to be slightly high on it. Then he can just roll the one in the middle and get the white up the table a bit. Then just roll the first yellow into the middle pocket. He's naturally running into prime position on the other two. And he takes them in whatever order he lands. He sees fit. And the black into the top left-hand pocket. And he's not doing that. He's actually going to leave the ball on the top rail here to last.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad option either, to be honest.
It's not a bad option, yeah.
Transitioning from the ball on the rail back to centre table is actually not that easy.
Yeah, it's a bit trickier, yeah.
Geez, that pulled up a touch there quick then.
Yeah, he's gone a bit hard on that, but he may have to go take that ball on the top rail second there, Jamie, unless he can pot this and not disturb anything.
Well, he can take the ball to the top left, and this yellow, he's close to the white, and he actually passes to the bottom right.
Yeah,
so he can actually stun
but
that, play
the problem I see then, if he actually plays for that ball, he's got to force that to get on the other.
Well,
he's got to take the top one. He can't take the one in the middle.
He takes his first, stuns it, and then plays the run through off the side cushion for the ball over the pocket, and then he's got the run in. Well, he's not doing that, I don't think. He looks like he's loading up. Oh, look at this precision.
I don't think we see Mick take the one in the middle here, do we, Jamie? Or we do.
If he's
take
on
it in the middle.
If he's
he
on
take
it, he takes it all day.
Actually, he has to take it all day, doesn't he? Takes the one in the middle, pots the ball over the hole, rolls the yellow along the rail into the top kick. He's nicely on the black in the middle pocket.
Yep, spot on. And I've got to be honest with you, when I first looked at this out, I was thinking like you, to eliminate these two balls and get on this yellow at the bottom of the table as soon as possible. And that way, you know...
Well, there you go. He's gone the other way. He's actually going to drift up the table. Same thing.
I think he might have to use a bit of right-hand side here, Brett.
He has to use a touch of right-hand side, yeah. And he is.
You know why?
Left-hand side.
Left-hand side. You know why he's doing this is because he can use the red as well. Just
there you
like
go.
That.
Oh, we went off the red. It was a big pocket. He knew that was a big pocket.
Yeah, I've just realised that
we can see
up.
that obviously from the commentary here, but being a big pocket, there was never any danger of him not going out here.
So I think the better bet to have to get odds on Brett is if Mick will actually miss a ball for the whole final.
Yeah, I'll give you $1.10 on that.
He really is someone to idolise.
I'll give you $1.10 on that.
I'm not taking the bet. I tell you what, it's ridiculous.
What's that, 2-0? Yep.
And he's just clean and crisp and doesn't do a lot wrong and takes the time when he needs to as well to just play. If he slightly falls out of position to reevaluate the out. I don't think he ever discounts himself being able to make the out if all the balls are on.
Yep. I agree, totally.
I'll tell you what I really want to see, and we'd be lucky to see it, but what I really want to see is Mick Hill forced to play an out where there's about 3 or 4 balls on the rails, and he's forced to make the out.
Yep.
I want to see him do it because the great Quinton Han is the best I've ever seen at that.
Actually, I was just talking to Brenton Collar the other day, and he rates Quinton the best of all time.
Well, I think
he said the reason why is for that exact reason, Jamie. When he has to pot a ball, a big ball, he got it every time.
He did, but I still think, I think the reason that Quinton was so highly rated is because he was actually ahead of his time for the stuff that he was doing that the guys obviously are doing now.
Yeah.
But I still think Gareth Potts and Mick are better, in my opinion.
All right, okay.
But when I went to England, all they did was ask about Quinton. So that's how much they rate him over there, and that's where the best players in the world are. So,
well, Adam's had a dry break here, so Mick's got first visit again on yellows, and I can't see much going wrong here, Jamie. This is screw back. See the way he's played that, deliberately hit through the ball. Nothing dolly there, no hit through the ball. Use 2 rows to come back out.
And he's actually not landed very well.
He actually hasn't. He's actually overrun this by about an inch, and it actually has put him slightly out of position, but he's on the one in the middle, so it is.
Do you actually think, Brett, when you're under the pump against a bloke that hasn't missed a shot in 2 frames and a short break, do you reckon that it's actually harder to break? Do you think
something does
tighten up? Do you concentrate more on not going in off?
Yeah, you do. I think you do, Jamie. I think the problem with most people is they get tighter in the backhand without realising it. The tighter you get on a cue at any stage, the less actual you actually lose power instead of gaining power.
Absolutely.
So your timing actually does go out the window.
And I reckon there's a good chance that could happen a fair bit.
Yeah, well, it does, doesn't it? If you actually analyse yourself in situations, you'll probably realise that your backhand is getting tighter.
So I actually made comment.
I'm talking about everybody, not yourself, Jamie. I'm talking about everybody
Absolutely.
in general.
Well, I made comment of my best mate Jake McCartney, how he gets to deep in these big guns tournaments, race to 11s, and then suddenly the break dries right up.
Maybe Jake does tighten up a bit.
That could be the answer.
Even though it doesn't look like it, Jake never looks like he's tightening up, but you don't really know how someone's feeling by just looking at him.
It could be his answer that he's looking for, because it's happened on at least 3 to 4 occasions for him.
That's a very fair call, mate. Very fair call.
So I'll actually mention that to Jake later on.
Whereas I think with this bloke, that doesn't happen because he's so used to these situations.
Yeah, that's right. And he's just clinically smashed this out apart once he's regained position.
Now you see Mick actually screw back off this attach because he wants to be dead. That's fine. That's dead straight. That's where he wants to be. He doesn't want the light drifting at all to the rail here. He just stops us in and just rolls the black in the middle.
Yep.
3-0. Mick was never going to miss these.
And this is ridiculous. This is the class of the man. And I tell you what, I'm buzzing about this because obviously I'm not buzzing for Adam's sake because unfortunately he's a recipient at the moment. But all the viewers at home get to see the best player in the world play in an Australian pool comp.
Yeah.
And if anybody I've got to say the people watching there are probably just shaking their head, going, "This guy's a freak. This guy is a freak."
Well, I tell you what, I've learned something off Mick Hill. That shot he played before earlier in his last match, the shot that he actually played off the jaw and put the red on the top rail, to me, that was a bloke that's absolutely on his game, on the job, every time he sees a layout of a pool table.
Absolutely. And Rusty
There's no
Wheeler,
way he's played the pot on that, Jamie. That's the shot he played.
Rusty Wheeler's just won big guns and played very well. But let's be absolutely critical and fair to give me Brett. He's actually not even in the same class as Mick Hill.
Look,
right?
I'm not going to pull any punches, Jamie.
He's a brilliant player.
I can't disagree with that comment one iota.
It actually is.
This bloke is clinical.
He made me want to quit pool when I watched him
This bloke
play.
is clinical. He's totally clinical. This bloke is a professional.
He is. He made me want to quit. I just thought I can never get this good, Brett. I'm going to quit the game.
All right, Mick's come up dry. Adam's at the table.
How funny is it though? He's come up dry and there's no real simple starter for him. And this is the way things go. It's crazy.
But you have to deal with what's in front of you, and this is what's in front of Adam. What are you doing here, Jamie?
I think the plan is on. Like he can get sneak past.
He's obviously taking a pot on here, which looks like it's red. No, it's yellows actually, and it's red on the yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have. he could have controlled that shot a bit better, I think, Jamie.
Yeah, he's still okay though.
Yeah. But if he actually gets out off the side rail a bit, he can actually punch that ball into the top right-hand pocket
Yeah, land
and move
right
the ball,
behind.
or land behind it, or move it, and he's got a ball over the hole down here.
And that's why I land behind. That way I can just drop it in.
Yeah,
and
that's
I can
true.
play the ball near the hole. So
either way, he needed to be more out into the middle of the table on this shot.
you're actually
more
spot
angle.
on. If you actually can move the white ball a foot out from the rail, I actually favour him to go game here.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
it's tricky.
That's exactly right. Now he has to work his way back onto that ball. This is the problem.
He's actually got perfect angle.
He's actually got the perfect angle now. But
yeah, no, this is spot on, Brett.
Yeah, it is spot on. But once again, by not leaving the ball out in the middle of the table, he's actually going to take 3 shots and have a lot more white ball travel to get to the same position as what he could have had if he had just thought about the shot a little bit more. But he's going to be fed on this ball after this. There's no doubt about it. Oh,
wow.
Hello. Well, different angle. He needed to actually screw off that.
He did. I thought it was actually plain ball.
It did look plain ball.
Now this shot at the top of the table is going to be his undoing.
Exactly. This is exactly right.
Oh, what, he's sitting up.
Yeah, I actually think he did have to cover there, Jamie.
That's a foul.
Why didn't hit the rail?
No, it didn't. And JoJo's actually umpiring.
Okay, all right.
So she's right on top of it.
But in all fairness, that was the right percentage shot, Jamie. I couldn't see Adam going game from there, mate, to be honest with you.
I do agree with you, but I think if I'm out there,
I think you play that shot,
No,
Jamie.
I feel like I've got to have a dip because I
don't think you would have played that far against percentages, mate.
You might be right.
Yeah. Now, there's no doubt Adam's certainly got an advantage in this frame. It's not great. It would be interesting to see what Mick Hill does.
3-ball kick out here. Half ball left this red here. Bang, out they go.
They all come out.
I've just seen the shot, but he played it too quick.
Now it's actually advantage Mick Hill.
Yep, all these balls are in the open.
Yeah. Oh, he had 2 shots, of course.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Naturally. The only problem I can see here, Jamie, is the ball on the right-hand side rail, and that is the one that Mick will be absolutely trying to get onto as quick as possible.
And you just saw him point to it with his cue, like he's already decided
here
what
it
he's
is.
doing.
Run through this. Well, how's this for an angle? Run through and just knock it out off the right. But he needs to force this more, Jamie. He needs to get the red across the table. You cannot leave the red in that vicinity. You must bring the red past the black and the yellow.
I agree completely. So he's just looking where it will go.
He could maybe even screw off the one in the middle pocket on the left-hand side here, into the rail and back out. What's he doing?
That's actually a shot I don't think he'd
He's actually coming around behind it now, I think. He is.
I'll tell you something I've
learned.
There
you go. He had a perfect angle to do that. Great shot.
That's ridiculous, actually.
But there's a lesson to learn there, though. You need to get on that ball as quick as possible.
But seriously, Brett, give me a spell. Chris Land.
Yeah, well, look, the angle's there. Mick knows the angle's backwards. He knows where to hit the white. He knows how hard to hit the white. When he sees an angle, he just utilises it. He exploits it to the maximum.
I'll tell you something that, you mentioned he could screw back and play. One thing I've noticed about Mick, he doesn't actually play a lot of deep screw shots where you've got to land in 5-cent coin areas because it's such a hard shot to control. He would actually rather run the white naturally around angles.
Absolutely. Well, that's common sense, Jamie.
It is, but the thing is, it's actually not that easy to do a lot of the time because a lot of the time your mind doesn't think that way. And if you do play natural angles, you actually need to understand angles brilliantly. And unfortunately for me, I actually don't read angles as well as what, say, like, for example, Jake does.
Yep.
Jake reads angles brilliantly.
Yep.
I don't read them as well as he does, and I think you read angles brilliantly as well.
Mm-hmm.
If there's actually a way to teach someone to read the angles right, I'd love to know what it is because I'll be right on that train.
I think when you come from the pot of the ball, you actually start to read angles better, Jamie. I mean, you pot very well, but you haven't been playing that more attacking style of game. You're covering more or whatever, which I believe you're a better player than that. Well, you are. You'll only get better than that sort of thing. But when you say you don't read angles, I think angles just come with just reading the balls and playing the shot.
Yeah, you're probably right
I think you do read the ball. I think you do read the angles well. You do.
And I think with the newfound technique that you've given me last night as well, Brett,
mate.
Once I keep working on that, I'll feel even better.
Oh, I tell you what, that wiped his feet.
It did, but
I nearly seen Mick will miss a pretty easy play. Yeah, no doubt, Jamie. The way you were striking the ball last night, you're going to be a force to reckon with, no doubt.
Oh, I hope to be.
Not that you already haven't been, but all your percentages are going to go up. I can see that.
So Mick Hill to 4-0, and he's basically on the hill already. No pun intended. And will he miss a ball, Brett?
No. So the $1.10's looking pretty good.
I actually feel bad for Adam. I really do. Like,
Yeah, I know. What, he actually.
I kind of, for about 4 seconds, I hated his guts because he beat me.
Which is right.
Oh, he scratches.
Shelley Grundy. Who's Shelley Grundy? Do you know?
She's from New South. Sorry, I think it's a he. Sorry, I'm not actually sure if it's a she or a he.
I think that's Shelley Grundy. I'd say
Tasmania.
Good to see Grumpy Cat Empire in. JoJo's obviously the Grumpy Cat.
I haven't heard of it being called the Grumpy Cat before.
That's a first. Can you tell us why that is, Shelley? Got any chance?
Yeah, sorry, Shelley. I'm assuming Shelley is a girl.
We're assuming you are a girl, but if you're a male, well,
in fact,
so be it.
In fact, she, he, and yet to be determined gender has been on CueballTV a fair bit on the chat.
She has?
Yeah,
or he has? Or?
During this tournament.
Okay.
And first time I've actually seen it, but obviously I don't read it too much, but the first time I've seen it, and has some really good comments to make, so yeah, much appreciated too.
Yeah, definitely.
And Mick now he gets on the side rail there, he's just going to drop this inbred.
Yeah. Crazy Dave, Mick Hill Pool Clinic.
Well, yeah.
Huss Curdy, Ronnie O'Sullivan is a freak. Mick Hill is a good pool player. Yeah, he is world champ, but I think Rusty would give him a good go over a long race. Huss, this bloke is probably the best you can get. So.
Huss, I like your comment there, mate. I think Rusty would give him a good go, but I still, like, how do you actually beat a bloke that doesn't ever miss?
No,
that's the problem.
No.
I shouldn't say ever.
And not only that, his perception of the way the balls lie and his safety play, attacking safety play, retaining safety play, all forms of safety play, a top shelf.
I was actually talking to someone earlier in regards to the tactics, and someone said, how do you reckon you go against Mick Hill tactically? And I said, there are two different types of tactics in this game. There are pocket controlling tactics, and there are tactics where you are running the white and landing in a certain area to leave your opponent in a really bad spot. And he actually did that earlier on in the match against Cran. We spoke about where he put the white and Cran couldn't do a thing.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So I said, I think if it was a pocket controlling type affair, I could give him a good run.
Yeah, definitely.
But these shots where you're actually putting the white ball in a certain position to leave him absolutely stuffed.
That's a very fair call, Jamie.
I have not a hope in hell of matching him.
Very fair call. How does Mick go about this now, Jamie?
I think he can actually probably run through.
He can't screw back off that, can he? Can he? He can.
Well,
it's going towards the pocket, isn't
it?
Yeah, it looks like it's going off to me. I think he has to take this ball here. He's swinging. He's potting this off 2 rows between the gap of the 2 yellows. He's actually playing on the middle red, but knowing if he overhits this, he's on the far red. That's what he's playing here. Just like that. That's what he's playing. That's exactly what he's playing.
That is a great shot.
Yeah.
You're spot on there, Brett. He had a backup ball in case he didn't land exactly in the gap of the 2 yellows.
Now, what's the angle on this?
It's thin.
Mick is he's actually just hitting this high and just clipping off 2 rows and bringing the white back into the middle of the table. He's trying to get straightish on this red to get on the black. But either way, it doesn't matter really unless he lands very high up the table, he's going to struggle to get on the black. As long as he comes down the table anywhere near the ball line, Mick will be able to play a positional shot to get on the black here.
I'll tell you something, just while he's running through these as well, if you ever get a chance to watch Mick Hill in a DVD in a world final, the reason I was so attracted to his game was also his personality in relation to his facial expressions and his character at the table. It just made me crack up. I thought it was brilliant. He kind of looks into the distance and up at the roof and sort of...
He's actually landed short here. He's not perfect on this.
He's absolutely perfect.
No, he's not, Jamie. He's actually out of position here. He can only roll this in and play a fine nick on the black down the road, but I don't think we'll see Mick play that. I think we'll see Mick put the red in the top pocket here.
He's actually screwing off.
He's going to put the red in the top pocket and stun around off 3 rows and get fat behind it.
No, he's playing a soft
There you go. Well, he's got a fine clip.
Well, do you reckon he'll play a drag shot here, soft screw drag? He'll play a drag
that's the
shot.
only way to play this shot. Drag shot is the only way to play this shot. Actually, Dale Watson is the best that I've ever seen at this shot.
Fair dinkum.
Yep, Dale Watson. I played him the other day. He was absolutely sensational.
You're the best I've ever seen at these shots. And he's, oh my God.
There we go, one ball. The $1.10's gone out the window.
I'll tell you what, he got the leg up there, but did he do that for the crown?
And I'll also say something about Dale Watson. He played some sensational shots in that match. And if anybody underrates Dale Watson, he's the man that's hard to beat.
No, he's the most improved player in
He's hard
Victoria.
to beat, mate. I was very impressed the way, and I was exceptionally lucky to beat him. He missed the simplest ball to get on the black, which he couldn't miss it at 10-8 up, and he missed the black in the last for me to get back in it. So, and he played some great shots. But those rolling pots near the rail, Jamie, I've never seen anyone hit them soft without playing them with drag and knock them all in. From distance, not just close to them, from distance. The only ball that he actually missed along the rail for the whole match was the actual final black, which was very, very tight.
Well, I am cheering on
the
Adam.
The $10's gone out the window, mate.
It has, mate. We've lost our bet if we had some cash on it, but I am cheering Adam on.
What does Adam do here, mate? What does he do here?
And his balls in it.
Does he try to get him?
I'll tell you what, I actually wanted a shot. That's a good shot. Slightly harder would have been great. I actually would have much rather have Mick Hilby on these yellows and have Adam have the black over the pocket. Not because I want him to obviously miss the black, but I want to see him how he goes out. That's a situation
you want to see, yeah.
I want to see how he makes this out.
Well, yeah. Adam, obviously, what I'd be looking at here, Jamie, now he's got a much more difficult pot, but he's trying to create an angle so he can screw into that ball or whatever to dismount it on the side rail.
Oh, that is pressure and just a twitch up. Like, he knows that's not that shot. Playing at that pace is not on. And so Mick Hill will pot the black and win 5-0. It was almost preserved himself to giving up there, but Adam Andretzke can hold his head high. He has had a very good tournament, and he's beaten some very good players along the way, and I'm not just saying that because he knocked me off.
Shelley just told us she's a female, so we declare thanks for that, Shelley. Well, there you go, Mick Hill, champion of Anzac 2014, very well deserved. Like I did say before, you can go back over his matches and study him, and you'll actually... I've certainly learned something from watching this man play in the last hour. So,
absolutely, so have I. And I hope you're all over at home, and I hope you've enjoyed the coverage over the last 4 days. It's been a massive, ridiculously large 4 days of not much sleep for us blokes sitting here behind the camera. A huge thanks to Bar 8, huge thanks to the tournament organisers, which was Travis Crawley, Mel Crawley, and Jojo and Tracy were involved in that. They also helped run the Anzac Day comps with, I'm not sure who the official owner of that comp is anymore. And least but not last, Dan Lynch. The man that you never ever get to see on camera because he's always doing the business behind it.
I know we can't stop. We can't say this enough, and what Dan does for us, so we can sit here and commentate. You can watch it at home. If it wasn't for that man, this wouldn't be happening. So
absolutely. So we'll sign off now, and I'll go and answer Jar's question.
Okay.
Take care, folks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Joel was smashing him up, we had a chance at the end.
So when he played that yellow, like, he knows that's not on. He just smashed it like he gave up.
I reckon the big pot, he is, mate, because he's only got one double back in the middle. Yeah. That's all he's got to do. But he overhit it the shit out.
their hospitality, all the pieces that they've put on for everyone to eat this afternoon. It's been good. Thank you for JR for doing the Calcutta. We appreciate that. First off, we'll get through the trophies. The ladies' comp Friday night winner was Scotty Plum. Hey, Tracy, you doing anything?
I've come to collect my poor trophy.
Fucking chick pork special.
Give me the trophy, woman. Hurry up. I'll throw this guy out the window.
Just so you know, the Friday night knockout comp winner was Steve Jamison. Best lady for the Anzac tournament, Lisa Nail from South Australia. Best novice, Marty Nickel. Best intermediate, Steve Johnson.
Who's the fucking intermediate? You're an intermediate.
That's what I said.
You've got to be kidding me.
The best junior, BJ Randall.
He's 26.
And the trophy you already actually played huge cash. King of the Blocks, Ben Noonan.
King of the block.
Good up, man.
Benny's starting to chase those blocks Come on, Danny. Yeah, slip the tongue in. Slip the tongue in.
That's all I'm good at.
I've got a box full of Benny's trophies.
In the Calcutta, future 8 spots. Robbo was bought by John Colbert. JR bought himself. James Stevens was bought by Paul Brewer. Wayne Richardson was bought by Wayne. Gussie Giorgio was bought by Kevin Harvey. Cranberry was bought by Lee Sweetland. Second place, Andretzke was bought by James Delahunty. James, come and collect your money. Della.
Mind you.
Give me your share. Give me your share.
And Michael Hill was bought $300 by Tracy, Nick and Brad Mealy. I think it's probably unlucky that many balls on the way in the final. It was very shows how good you actually play. I'd like to congratulate Adam and get him to come up the runner-up in the Anzac tournament.
Say something.
Actually, just hold the microphone for 30 seconds.
First of all, what I was saying, all kids are going by, and I think it's really happy to do what I did. Thanks to everybody who's been running the tournament, Joe and Tracy and everyone at Bar 8 and stuff like that. I haven't been here for a few years, I've been here. It's a great tournament. And had a ball, and apparently, according to Aaron, we're coming to the big guns next year. So look forward to see everybody here next year. Thanks a lot.
Alright, and then the Anzac tournament, which was done pretty quickly since we had a time finally on it. After the from England.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Adam said, it's been a great event, and well done to obviously Joe, Tracy, everybody, all the staff at Bar 8, Georgia, Benny, whatever, it's been a fantastic tournament again. I dare say so. I'll be back next year, but you might be getting a bit cheesed off with me now, so I'm not sure about that. But no, well done to the winners, Rusty, for the big guns. It's actually really good watching you blokes play over here on your own equipment and seeing how well you can play. The ace man, rolling back the years, we had a couple of conversations about it last couple of days, and yeah, well done to him, and you know, he can still mix it with you young blokes. Yeah, thanks again. Yeah, see you later. Cheers. Thank you.
Joe wants to play you.
We'll keep drawing until someone's using the lucky door prize. $1,000.
Come give us a cry.
Can we just chop it up? Whole pint. Not the other. It's not here. Lee, Sweetland, Drew, Lee, Sweetland.
I know that Joe wants to play you.